Good evening, and welcome to Psychic Plans on the Psychic Coffee Network. I'm Aeson Knight. Of course, I'm sitting down with operations manager and my other jack of all trades and husband, Techie Joe. We're going to be planning out this week, but first, I want to talk about last week and some things we done, and then we're going to build a system, and then we'll go from there. For those looking for the monthly setup video, that's next week.
We decided to let that one go till next week.
Right.
Made more sense.
Anyway, so last week was my executive week. What I mean by that is I have 1 week a month normally. I have normally 1 or 2 days that is just a ton of fucking meetings. This year, you got to get down. Go on. I will feed you to Gizmo today. This month, however, it all hit on the same day. And that was a very long day. And then we had a lot of events. So it was a busy week.
It was a very full week.
It was a very full week. It was a very tiring week. But it also showed us some places we need to build systems for.
Right.
So, Joe, do you want to tell them what I've done to the refrigerator upon your recommendation?
Yeah, so we went ahead and pulled all the condiments out of the door of the fridge. They have now been nestled into bins, and we have started actually stocking drinks in the fridge instead of trying to just put them in the bins below. That we had already decided that was a vegetable graveyard and kind of a useless point of our fridge. So we had been trying to use those bins to be our singular storage of drinks. Unfortunately, it would get loaded and depleted. And there was a third missing step there.
Yeah.
Reloading. So the idea now is we will be using that for overflow in the bins, the crisper bins, and then actually putting our drinks in the door.
Right. And the other thing that we discovered is we suck at leftovers in the fridge.
Yeah, that's another thing that it goes in the fridge to die or get pushed to the back.
Right. So I made a new house. So we made a new house rule. There is no leftovers.
Yeah. All leftovers go to the freezer. No leftovers in the fridge.
No. Not unless you're dedicating to eating it tonight, tomorrow. To the freezer you go.
Yeah. It only takes an extra minute to reheat. Now, of course, we'd want to avoid doing that with leftovers that just can't be frozen. So that kind of becomes the moment of make the decision now. Is it going in the fridge to be eaten, or is it going into the fridge to die?
Or is it going to Gizmo?
Yeah.
Like, we have no problem feeding our dog a copy of our dinner. He might be happier.
He might be.
Yeah. So how was the executive week?
Well, it was a little frantic because that was a gauntlet day this past week.
Yeah.
And I kind of also had a thing going on. Thankfully, I think we only actually technically saw me on air for one day which was Tuesday. With the bandage on the ear.
Right.
Which again was not a political statement. It was an unfortunate reality of having a cyst removed from my ear. But yeah, and then so that was Tuesday. So that was a little chaotic for me. And then Wednesday was the gauntlet. And I actually caught that I missed a thing for a client. I don't know what happened with it on the Google Calendar. But yeah. Thankfully, I had another reminder pop somewhere else.
Right.
So I can pop backwards and make sure that gets taken care of. So.
Right.
And I don't think it's an international disaster. It's just one of those, I wish I hadn't missed that.
Right.
But we'll fix it.
Yeah. Things are fixable. Things are adaptable. We're moving through a fluid system.
Well, this was one of those, the vendor created a process that was kind of asinine. And it's like, here's your narrow window of testing.
Right.
Come do it now.
Right.
And it's like, yeah, okay, cool. That sounds like that's interesting. Like, that's a hot take. That's spicy.
Right. And it gets busy around here. It gets busy with me. It gets busy with the businesses. It gets busy with events. It gets busy with your clients and your business. And then now we have a third ball rolling through the sky called Aeson. And we like that ball.
Yeah. No. Well, that one's actually a lot better than the previous one.
Exactly.
Yeah. Like, I'll take it. Like, totally down for that. Well, and then we have a fourth one as well.
Yeah, we have a fourth one. So we have 4 balls moving in the air.
At any given time.
At any given time, we have, a cluster of planets moving around with different wheels and rings and their own planetary.
And then there's the Mama Knight. Because we can't forget her. She has doctor's appointments. She got to go places.
Yeah, she has things to do, as she tells.
And Cracker Barrels to eat at. Don't forget.
Yes, and to review, which I really think that you should start filming her reviews of Cracker Barrel. And we can post them to Patreons.
Oh, God. I'm no. It's already a little frightening enough because she does these at the table.
Yes.
And don't get me wrong, I love the Mama Knight, but let me tell you, like, awareness of necessary volume isn't always online. Necessary. Yeah, it isn't always online. So sometimes, like, you're sitting there listening to her say stuff, and it's like, oh, if only you had a volume knob. It's like, I don't necessarily disagree.
Like, well, she's quite bullshittic.
Oh, because there's no minced words with your mother. Like, she doesn't mince words.
She does not have a filter. This is where I got that from. You can blame her.
Yeah. So, high volume, no mincing. Yeah. And sometimes it's like, I would have chosen different words. You're not wrong. I would have chosen different words and maybe said them gentlier. Like, that
don't happen.
Same out of 3.
Like, her current goal hero right now, Sophia Petrillo. All right.
Sophia Petrillo is her spirit animal.
Yes, very much so. And her dogma animal, and however else you want to do with us. Yes. So there's that. And then we had a meltdown, and I'm like, let's go. We're just going to Kobe, throw the chicken in the fridge. Let's go talk.
We actually had 2 last week.
Yeah.
There were 2 days that it was like, we're done.
Yeah. Like,
pack it up. We're done.
Yeah. I'm at 10%. What are you at? 5%. Health goes out the window. Routines go out the window. And let's just take care of us and figure out how to prevent this next time. Yeah. Throw the cat off.
Fix it later. Like, deal with it later. Like, it's nothing's an emergency. All emergencies are handled. Like, no fires were left burning.
Exactly.
But it was trying to, do basic self-care of, cooking a hot meal was a casualty.
Exactly.
To everything else those days.
Right.
And or more importantly, the recovery period from the previous.
It
was
and
just
it's like
not working.
Not working. This ain't happening. We've made some mistakes, and these are some mistakes that is going to occur. One of them being is, if you're microwaving and you are gluten-free and you live in a mixed gluten household, your shit has to go in first. Or you're
baking. Yeah. If you are air frying, if you're and the whole moment we had with that was with baking.
Yeah.
And again, in my defense, like it was again one of those periods, like we had just done a show.
Mm-hmm.
We had this really simple dinner idea. We're going to get frozen pizzas and bake them.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome, loving it. Sounds great. But after the show, we also we only had a 30-minute gap to like preheat the oven, get the first round through, because multiple people, multiple pizzas is how this was working out, and breadsticks because they're awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And so, we have to do this in like
right
in pieces,
right?
Because the oven's only so big. We do not have a Walmart-sized walk-in oven, which is probably a better thing for this whole scenario. But we had two separate things going on with that. He's thinking in terms of gluten-free first, do all the gluten-frees together, then do the glutens.
Right.
I'm having a moment where I'm realizing I only have 30 minutes to preheat the oven and do this first set before I have to leave and then come back and, try to get a second set done while I'm gone, and then can get a third set after I'm back.
Right.
Because that's how long I was going to be gone. It would all work out. And if not, we have timers in the house, and surely after a couple of minutes, someone's going to go, what the hell is that for?
Right.
And stumble into the kitchen and piece together what I've done, which is not get back on time because I only had to drive like a half mile and turn around. So anyway, all of that, I opted for, oh, hey, Melissa. I opted for what makes the most sense for the time that I have, not what you were thinking, which is what is the optimal gluten-free gluten orientation.
Right. How do we not gluten me?
How do we not gluten him? Wasn't even thinking about that because there was a point that we were co-mingling.
Right.
We didn't think your sensitivity was strong enough to eliminate the idea of like gluten-free baking.
Right.
And you had the realization, but I don't think we had really talked it out.
Right.
Until after I did what I did, because it didn't process for me. I just went ahead and put the gluten and the gluten-free in the oven and went, cool. My whole thought was I can put my pizza in. I don't care if my pizza gets cold. It's not a big deal for me. And the breadsticks, which are gluten-free, which that's a quick, easy hack, by the way. We'll talk about that at some point. But I put those two in the oven, and you went, well, I'm not having breadsticks.
Yeah, and then you came back, and you're like rushing around, and you're like, your pizza's ready for toppings, because of course they don't make a supreme gluten-free pizza. They only make a pepperoni or a cheese. These are your options.
Well, not entirely true. They do make a supreme.
Yes.
But it's like, I don't know, what is it? Like meatless, cheeseless, tasteless, lifeless?
It is vegan, vegetarian, meatless, cheeseless, fake meat, and gluten-free.
Yeah. All in one. Like it's got all with a cauliflower crust.
Yeah.
Like it is all the things.
Exactly.
And apparently all of them are disgusting.
Just one of them I cannot stand. I've tried it. It doesn't work.
Dairy-free cheese and him are not getting along.
No, it's not even the dairy-free cheese.
It's not even the dairy-free cheese.
It's the vegan, not vegetarian, vegan pepperoni.
The Ferroni.
Right.
It's not pepperoni. God bless it. It's not pepperoni.
It's not pepperoni. It's not made out of something that could be pepperoni. Like
it's just this weird red disc on top of the pizza.
Yes.
And it chews funny. It doesn't have enough flavoring. It almost feels like you got like pepperoni or dogs or bacon stripped.
No, Gizmo won't even eat it.
So dogs really know it's not pepperoni.
Yes.
Sorry.
And that's when I said we've got to do something different.
Yeah. So he gets the Supreme with the uncured pepperoni. Because there's no version that is cured pepperoni and like that's as close to a normal gluten pizza as you could get minus the gluten. Right. It's always uncured pepperoni or some.
It's uncured pepperoni because apparently gluten gets introduced when they cure the pepperoni. Anyhow, so I get a pepperoni and cheese. We add toppings. It's no big deal. I get the pizza I want. That is actually decent. And I actually want to eat. So anyway, he's running around trying to get this whole dinner done. And I am like, you can't do this. And he looks at me and goes, what do you mean I can't do this?
I just did it. Look, see?
Yay. I said, great. You get to enjoy the breadsticks.
Why?
You can't bake gluten and non-gluten together. The gluten gets airborne and it turns my gluten-free pizza into a gluten pizza. Yeah. Especially when it's rising crust.
Yeah, well, stuffed crust on my part. But yeah, it's also
right.
So
yeah.
We had that sudden dawning realization because it wasn't even processing. I so felt like that scene from Desperate Housewives where she gets distracted trying to make the salad and knows her husband is allergic to onions and puts onions on the fucking salad. And is like, oh my God.
Right.
Like, I'm not trying to kill you. I just wasn't paying attention.
Yeah.
Like, it didn't.
Yeah. And granted, will I get violently sick? No. Will I feel like someone has kickboxed me into the third planet of the next universe? Yes. I don't need this during a power weekend.
No.
So.
Which, I mean, honestly, it's not as bad as it could have been.
Right.
It just wasn't as good as it could have been. So.
But these things occurred. But this has been going on for about a month now. Like, we've been running on low power for about a month. And we keep having certain trips that just drive us train wreck into everything.
Yeah. Well, and then on top of that, because of the sinus infection, I've just finally completed, now that I paid attention and counted my pills.
It's doxycycline, darling. You could actually be taking it every day.
Honestly, I am so glad every time I stop taking this because it's like my energy level goes up 30%.
Right.
Because that's part of this is like for that year that I was on it, it was like I was running at 70% and just could never like fully get there.
Right.
So I'm glad to be like, okay, you're done now.
Yes.
I don't care. Like, if I still have a sinus infection, which I don't think I do, I will just call the doctor and be like, admit me at this point and run something through an IV because I just can't even.
Yeah, even if it's Gatorade.
You know, like, I'm sorry. Has anyone else, because this was a 2 antibiotic sinus infection.
Right.
So at this point, I'm just like, I'm done. My stomach's done. My body's done. My energy level's done. Like, I can't take any more naps. Like, I'm gonna need the excuse of a hospital admit.
Right.
With my clients at this point.
And your husband at this point.
Okay.
Honey. Love you dearly, but if you try to kill me again.
It was only the one time.
Anytime we had pizza.
Also one time.
No, we've had pizza more than once.
Well, we have.
In the past 2 weeks.
Yeah.
You know, so these are things we find out and figure out as we go along. And we had to sit down and go, okay, where are we at? What season are we in? Because we've gone through some multiple changes over this quarter that may seem axillary, but they're not. They affect everything internally in the running of everything. We launched new content. We started TikTok. We picked up another job. We picked up at least 2 more clients in this network of planetary bodies. So we're having to adjust and flow. And then we've been sick. And then, this has occurred and that has occurred. And my gluten sensitivity has gotten worse. My apparently dairy sensitivity has gotten worse. And then they go and play tricks on us.
With what has what.
Right. And you would think that if something is 0 sugar, that it wouldn't be based on milk. If the normal
when the regular product, well, because there's an important point, like caveat there.
Right.
The regular non 0 calorie version is non-dairy.
Right.
So nowhere did it trigger in you to look to see if it was dairy when you switched from the regular to the 0 calorie.
Right.
Which I'm totally on board. I get it. You would why would this change? It doesn't really jump out at you.
Right.
But as we kind of got to talking about the biggest problem, and has long been the biggest problem, with trying to make like a low sodium food, a low fat food, a low calorie food. In reality, when you take something away, you have to give on something else. And typically the easiest thing to give is within the sodium, fat, or sugar categories.
Right.
Because it helps you
fill in the box.
Yeah, it helps you rebalance it so that it doesn't taste funny.
Right.
Or get really chemical. Which can be a problem, legitimately a problem, when you're trying to make a low sodium, low fat, no sugar food.
Right.
And it's going to taste like chemicals.
Right.
Like, these
are
your flavor components.
Right. So anyhow, we're back to regular creamer that is lactate free and gluten free. And I'm back to at least having coffee for a little bit. So my system decides it wants to do something else. Hello, adrenal fatigue. Hello. Like, I'm watching another content creator go through this and the trips that she's having, and I'm like, crap, I didn't think of that.
Yeah.
Does it really matter if you heat your microwave dinner and then I heat my microwave dinner? Why would it matter?
Oh, except
you
may potentially aerosolize gluten. So it really, and as you kind of said, it starts to make sense why you are seeing people online that are kind of adamant on the concept. You just need 2 of everything. Like, you need a whole second kitchen.
Right.
Like, you cannot share space. And it's not that you cannot.
Right.
It's that it does get a little tricky and a bit dicey. And I'm sure if you have a severe sensitivity,
right,
to navigate this whole game of chutes and ladders,
right,
that your husband just came through and made a bag of popcorn.
Yeah.
Like, unless everything in your house is gluten-free.
Right, which is the other recommendation. And that's a nice recommendation, but that isn't a functional recommendation for us.
Well, and fundamentally, that takes a lot of things in for granted.
Right.
Which I think is a really important conversation to have about the gluten free food market. Which is the fact that like most of this food is 2 to 3 or 4 or more times more expensive. Typically it is lower quantity of food,
right,
at that price
here.
Well, right, but I'm saying this has so far been our experience, like, because bread is cheap, pasta is cheap. Most of your gluten foods are, size to dollar, inexpensive and easy to be like, oh, here you go. When you start trying to either make it gluten-free by removing it, a la your bunless burgers,
right,
you have a reduction in food quantity.
Right.
So now you have to accommodate for that. If you're trying to keep it in balance. Or you're using like a totally different thing and it acts and functions differently. So like the rice pastas, or the red lentil pastas, or the whatever chickpea pasta, any of those things that you're doing, they work differently,
right?
And I understand that one, it's a more expensive pasta to make because you're not making it at the same scale as good old fashioned on the shelf, everyone else buys it pasta,
right?
And so that has a higher production cost,
right?
I understand where the costs come from, but trying to incorporate that into an entire family meal budget, you start seeing your costs grow. And just having one person that's gluten-free, for instance,
right?
That cost is already, like, you're very likely going to see like a good 1.5 multiplier on your food budget.
Yeah.
And that's if you're running like 2 loaves of bread, and you're going to see a boost. If you try to do it for a whole household,
it triples.
You're going to see a tripling.
Right.
And that's a lot, especially right now with the cost of food, what it is. To absorb into any family budget. I don't care, like, the level of money one has to make.
Right. Well, but that's because of the area we live in. These are the things that we exchange for living here. There is not a Trader Joe's. There is not a World Market. There is not a, like, the other problem is quantity.
Well, and variety. That's the bigger one.
And variety.
Yeah, like you get 2 or like it. I will make this joke and probably regret it later. But it strikes me in the moment of, if you really wanted to make life after prison easy for someone, because there's always this conversation about when people get out of prison, they go to Walmart and they're just completely overwhelmed. They have not had this level of choice since they went in. It's too much. Just tell them to be gluten-free. You shrink that store into, like, if you were to legitimately put it all in one aisle with, like you were saying, little freezer cases, because you mentioned this, doing it like the dog food aisle, it would be an aisle. That's it. That's all you'd have. The other 90% of the store doesn't fucking matter, except for the produce and the meat counter. But the rest of the store is off limits. That's
in some stores, it would only be a quarter of an aisle.
Yeah, if that.
Right.
So you could easily come out of prison, go gluten-free, and it would make your life easier.
Yeah.
Because you only get a limited number of choices on anything. Do you want this macaroni and cheese or that macaroni and cheese? You're not looking at 40 different varieties of, box macaroni and cheese with elbows or shells or white cheddar or we're not doing it. You get 2.
You get 2 types of pizza. You get 1 type of bread if you're lucky, 1 or 2 types of wraps. But at the same time, there is a lot of research you have to do because there are some things that say they're gluten-free.
Mm-hmm. And there are others that actually are gluten-free, but it doesn't say it.
Right.
Because now, like, why would it have gluten?
Right.
But then you get caught in the catch-22 of, why would it have gluten? Why do my green beans have gluten? Right. Why do I have to look for green beans? Do not clearly anywhere state they are gluten-free. I literally have to look at a label and make sure it doesn't have yeast or modified food starch.
Yeah.
As an additive.
Right. So, we crash out. Literally, it's like, system down, let's go to a restaurant and talk about this, because this is how we have something. So we're going to design a cooking system with an A, B, C. Yeah. These are the three options. This is what you think of. Joe, you may want to go to a weekly thing so that you can show them how to do it in digital.
Okay.
Because I'll do it in paper and then you can show them the digital version.
Okie dokie. So I'm going to go ahead and jump to November and just know that this is going to be a little imperfect in the display. We'll survive.
Okay. So I'm using a dashboard. This is going to be a 3-tiered system. What I mean by that is we can do this, we can do this, or if we have to, we do this. We are only covering dinners because everyone handles their own breakfast if they choose to. Everyone handles their own lunch if they choose to. We focus on one meal together.
Right.
All right. And this is not this week. This is all week. So I'm not putting dates in here. This will actually go into my commonplace section so that we can just pull it. Everyone knows where it is. All right. So let's look at our base week. So Fridays is pizzas. I think Tuesdays needs to be crock pot.
That sounds fair.
And I think Sundays is Saturdays is leftovers.
I thought we were doing leftover Sundays.
I want to cook on Sundays.
Okay.
All right. So that's 3 meals off the bat. Wednesdays we're out. We're going out to eat. We need that reconnect day. So that leaves Monday and Thursday and Sunday.
So Sunday is Aeson Cooks.
Yes. And a reason for that is so that I can do some prep also for my week.
So you can do some bulkies for the week.
Yeah.
Make your tuna salad if you're making tuna salad. Make chicken salad if you're making chicken salad. And cook up a bunch of chicken if you need chicken for wraps and this, that, and 5 other things.
Right. And boiled eggs. I love a good deviled egg in the morning. Like that type of bulk cooking. And then trying to also cook dinner around me is a nightmare.
Yeah. Well, our kitchen, as most kitchens in America are, is not a place for 2 people to be trying to do totally different things.
Right.
Like co-working on the same thing.
Easy.
You can do that. Trying to work in 2 different directions for totally different ends.
All right. So that leaves Monday and Thursday. What do you want to do? Do you want to just leave it to selection? Do you need to prep for anything?
Well, I think they're both just straight cook meals.
Okay.
I was thinking if we could get kind of specific on like meat choices so we don't really have to think about it.
We're getting there.
Okay.
All right. So Wednesday, plan A is, well, let's start with Monday. Let's start laying the ABC out.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So Mondays was a cook day. Seafood doesn't do good in a crock pot. So why don't our A plan for that day be seafood?
Okay.
So that's shrimp, that's the salmon, that's whatever there.
Right.
All right. So our B plan would be to do an Instapot meal. And that is throw 2 chicken breasts in there and be done with it, because we don't have to defrost for Instapot.
Right.
And then our C plan. What's our C plan?
I think that's probably a good day for all else fails. We have to pull something from the freezer.
Okay.
That it's a freezer heat up.
Okay. All right.
Because we usually have something.
Yeah, we normally have a good bit of freezer meals that we have pre-made, and it's just throw it in there and be done with it. All right, let's move on to Tuesday.
Okay.
Trying to keep my color coding together. So our A plan is crock pot. Chicken is easy in the crock pot.
Mm-hmm.
Say a crock pot chicken meal. Our B plan, like we didn't get it set up, we didn't prep it, whatever, I think needs to be just chicken.
Okay, so why don't we call Tuesday Crockpot or Instapot?
Okay.
Because that's going to make more sense, wouldn't it? Because because you're right, like chicken is the easy option. If we don't pull a meat, or if we run out of time, or we're just
right,
like, I don't freaking want what we originally planned.
Mm-hmm.
Chicken's always the easy one. Just throw chicken breasts in, we'll figure something out.
Yeah. Chicken breast, salsa, taco seasoning, ranch seasoning. We always have these in.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. And then I think our C plan there is TV dinners.
Okay.
Like if we are at 0 battery, just go to Kroger's, pick me up my tikka masala, pick you up something, we're done.
Yeah. Like it's just a quick run out to the grocery store freezer section.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. So let's work out Wednesday. our main plan, our A plan, is to go out.
Mm-hmm.
Our B plan, I think, needs to be a freezer meal. And I'm separating this because in my mind I separated out. This is a Wendy's run.
Okay.
Like we done last night.
Right.
Where I get my Wendy's, he gets whatever he wants. So,
absolutely.
The optimal would be we go out to sit down to eat. The B plan is just choose something out of the freezer, make you a sandwich, fend for your freaking self, whatever. Our Wednesday backup run is just what we're going to call a Wendy's run. Which is, here, this is my order. Like I have one or two choices there. This is our order. This is what you have to tell them. We're done.
Mm-hmm.
Low, like our C's are low energy. Like we are below 50% together.
Yeah.
All right. So we've gotten chicken cooked. We've done seafood. We've been out. What do you want to do on Thursday?
Bigger Thursdays are a good beef or pork as options 1 or 2.
Okay.
Because the beef would be a pull-out, pork would be I can still pull this off.
Okay.
It just has to bake a little longer. Like, it's not undoable to have fully frozen pork.
Right.
I just have to cook it a little different.
Right. And our low energy there, I say out.
Okay.
Because Thursdays, we normally don't have a show. It's not that complicated.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Fridays is our A plan is pizza. And I just messed that up, but that'll be okay. We get that the first line is pizza. All right. Our B plan is out. Like if we don't have the ability to do pizza, we go out.
Okay.
And I think our C plan there is freezer meal.
Okay.
All right. Saturday, our A plan is leftovers. Our B plan will be kibasi and something. Because it doesn't have to be defrosted. It can be fixed very quickly. It's easy to throw kibasi and canned cabbage, kibasi and sliced potatoes, kibasi and roasted vegetables, kibasi and whatever. It's like our universal fix it.
Mm-hmm.
And our zero energy is, again, I think, has to be an out. If neither one of us can pull that together. All right, Sunday I'm cooking, and we'll just leave it up to whatever I'm in the mood to cook and what I have time to cook.
Well, I think the bigger point is the A plan is your dinner and bulk.
Right.
Your B plan is dinner only.
Right.
And then I think our C plan is probably a Subway run.
I think that's wonderful. All right. It's an easy system. It takes the guesswork out of, well, what do you want for dinner?
It does. It does.
Right. And you don't have to have my thoughts, opinions, or ideas. You can just roll with it. If you look in the freezer and we don't have pizzas, you can go grab pizzas. And it causes us to really question, what do we have the energy for tonight? Do we have the energy for a 5-course meal? And yes, I've cooked a 5-course meal without a problem.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yep. All right. So there's that. This will go into my commonplace. You've got it on yours. You can quickly refer to it. I can quickly refer to it. We both made one decision, and we're done.
Mm-hmm. Remade it.
Yep. Which I've been reading The Lazy Genius. And, that one of the principles is where's your season and what do you have time for? Like, honestly. Mm-hmm. Because they do a lot of systems aren't designed for us and our household and the season we're in. Mm-hmm. I don't have 8 hours a day to clean.
Right.
But we've also seen
you literally have to take a day off each week to accomplish that.
Mm-hmm. We don't have time to beat each other up over food. You've got too many moving parts to be beating us up. You didn't lay the chicken up. You didn't tell me what you wanted to eat. We ain't got time for that.
Right.
So there's that.
Mm-hmm.
What's your thoughts on this as we switch over?
No, I think it will make it easier to kind of work within this. So this is my version on my weekly, mm-hmm. Which I did listed mine out a little different.
Right.
I have basically a day theme and then the ABC plan.
Right.
So yeah. But no, I think it does take some of the work out of it and just kind of autopilot a little bit through it.
Right.
That like, where are we at?
Right.
Like, are we over 80%? Then like we can pull off an A.
Yeah.
If we're at 60 to 80, probably pull off a B. We drop much below 60, it's like, nah, it's a freezer heater.
Right.
It's TV dinner, it's eat out, it's a Subway run or a Wendy's run or whatever.
Yeah.
Like it just falls to the, like, once we dip below the 60.
Right. Or, I'm having a bad day, it's a Wendy's run.
Yeah.
It's a, what can I, go get what you want. I can't do food right now.
Right.
Without getting stuck in there.
Right. Well, and I think that's also like there's the hidden menu. Mm-hmm. Is the D is figure it out.
Right.
Like I can't eat, my stomach's tore up.
Right.
You're on your own.
Right.
Which sometimes we both have to do. Like that's not just a him thing, that's a me thing.
Mm-hmm.
So like, yeah, is just looking at each other and being like, there ain't like, I'm going to be eating chicken noodle soup. Right. I'm going to be eating
potato chips,
grilled cheese or potato chips or whatever, because I just can't, I can't eat.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and that's a thing and it occurs and we do that. And like, Usually my option for that is a quick run to Kroger.
Right.
And like, okay, fine, I'm just grabbing something frozen to pop in the microwave.
Right.
Because that about works out to like where we're at. Like like I can press buttons on a microwave always.
Yeah. But, because our old C was just called Domino's.
Yeah, ironically.
Yeah.
Actually, I think that was your, technically, I would call that the old hidden menu. Was like, if all else fails, call Domino's or do a McDonald's run.
Right.
And there have been moments in this house that it's been like, what did he have for what did he eat on Monday? McDonald's. What did he eat on Tuesday? McDonald's. What did he eat on Wednesday? McDonald's. And it was. It's like, until the stomach recovers.
Right.
It's McDonald's.
Right. But this is how you build systems. And we may change the system later down the road. This is what we're shooting for. We're lazy geniusing this in. Because the important parts is, A, we get to eat, preferably together.
B, it's not really a conversation.
It's not this drawn-out conversation before.
What do you want for dinner? I don't know. What do you want for dinner?
Right.
I don't know. What do you want for dinner?
Right.
Although there is supposedly a secret hack for that, which is to just name anywhere.
Right.
And then, like, go from there.
Right.
Like, basically trick your partner into telling you, oh, God, I don't want to eat there. Okay, so what are, like, I threw out one. What's your counter?
Yeah. Or, the other, and
like,
it was
we
more
did that the other night. Like, we did that last night even.
Yeah.
Was you threw it, like, you threw Kobe at me, and I was like, there is no version of my stomach right now that can handle wasabi.
Right.
Okay, so what do you want?
Mm-hmm.
I want Taco Bell, which oddly, I know, makes no sense. I threw out wasabi. I went for Taco Bell, but like I left the sauces there.
Right.
Like I did basics.
Right. And that happens. They're like, and this is the reason for the system is this way dinner's at 6. Mm-hmm. We know at 6 that we got to make a choice. You made a choice either before I woke up or I'm making a choice when I wake up.
Yeah. Is how it works.
Right. And this gives you guardrails. And would I like to every day, make you a fully homemade from scratch meal? Yes. And in a perfect world, that would be the world. This is not that. These are not the droids we're looking for.
No. Well, I mean, it's an unrealistic expectation, and it's a lot of stress of not living up to an unrealistic expectation.
Right.
Like, it's not the 1950s. Yes, we both work from home.
Right.
Neither one of us has time to be a homemaker.
Right.
Like, if you have one, a stay at home, as they are now called, please appreciate that. That's a very long day with a lot of decisions and choices and options, and
right.
A lot of work goes into that, especially if you're putting, a fully cooked meal on the table every single night.
Right.
Even 80% of nights.
Right.
There's a lot that goes into it.
Yeah. There's a lot. There's a lot of choices that are made, which we get decision fatigue. Like, that is a big destroyer in this house. And yes.
Well, not only is it decision fatigue, but sometimes there's the rutting that occurs.
Mm-hmm.
In which you just autopilot because you're just kind of done with thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
And then suddenly you've realized that you had, green beans as a side 3 nights this week.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, did I seriously do that? And it's like, yeah, you've done green beans 3 nights in a row.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay, I'm sorry.
Right. All right. So we're going to start my weekly overview and work on it and talk our way through, because this week's different. And it's now time for us to set up the new, better, best, because I don't have executive week. That doesn't mean that we forget the system we put together last week, because it is working great by the numbers.
Awesome.
So let me find it. All right. So this was last week's plan. Let's work on this week's plan. See where we're at. I'd like to keep dinner at 6. Are we good for that all week, I think?
I think literally every night but Sundays.
Yeah.
Like that's the one that's pretty much always
right.
A problem. But it looks like the only night I can currently see an issue might be Wednesday.
Okay.
Actually, no, I take that back. That's not going to be a problem.
Okay.
And then, but I do have to one day this week. I'm going to have to get to Princeton.
I get that.
So that's probably, if I had to guesstimate, gonna be Friday because I have no other choice.
That's fine. All right.
I think. But yeah, I think Friday is going to end up being my travel day.
That's fine. And it's an easy thing. I can do that. Like we can do A or B that night. Okay.
Okay.
So let's go ahead and plan for 6 through the week. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, guys. Like, I have stuff everywhere because I'm trying new pens, new markers. Like, I'm working on 2025 system. And sometimes that is difficult. Like, look, and we're going to do a Psychic That Plans that reviews the changes we've done this year, so that, you know, we can see if we're growing, if we're improving, like where we're at.
I think your yellow's dying.
I'm going to be honest, and I'll probably get some hot takes on this. I'm really done with these mild liners. Like, I love the color selection. Like, that's wonderful. But here's the but, everyone. They're not wide enough to actually like fill in boxes. I want to try the Zig markers, and which I'm going to have to order from Jet Pens, and then I'm going to look for the traditional highlighters that we used to have in school. Which is becoming harder to find. All right, so on Sunday, do you want to do dinner at 7?
I think 7:30 to 8:30. Oh no, 7. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry, I forgot about the event scheduled at 8.
Yeah.
I was like, well, maybe we shouldn't plan for 8:30.
Yeah.
That's not gonna be a thing.
Right. And no, I don't want to eat dinner at my desk.
I know. So, but yeah, we should be able to work that out.
Right. All right. And here's what's all tied into there. My meds are going into dinner. Like my morning meds, I'm going to stop taking them when I first get up in the morning. I'm going to take them at dinner.
Okay.
So maybe we'll have that's more of a 12-hour separation of meds. So that's why it's like, let's do it between 6 or 7 so that my meds are hitting right.
Okay.
All right. So let's get the shows in, and then we'll go from there. All right. All right. So Friday, not Friday, Thursday, let's do energy overview.
Okay.
And we'll do that at 8. Does that look good?
It so far looks good. Yeah, I think that'll work.
Okay. And that should only be an hour-long show.
Mm-hmm.
If that, because that's where we do. And guys, I know what you normally try to do. There's the last Saturday of the month. That didn't happen this month. All right. And then Wednesday is the TikTok Live, and it starts at 8:30.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just an hour also. I mean, if it's going good, I can go over, but we're going to try not to.
Right.
All right. And then the rest of Wednesday until midnight, I'm taking off because that's our Halloween.
Yes.
I almost thought about not doing the live, but I just started it.
No, I think that's fair.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to grab our yellow. And we're just boxing the rest of this out. And just lining that and lining that. Okay. So that's us watching. What are we? Oh, Salem's Lot. Have you chose your movie yet?
I thought we were just doing Salem's Lot.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what you said you wanted to do, so I just planned for that.
Okay. Well, I was going to give you the option of also choosing a movie to watch too.
Oh. No, I figured we'd just do Salem's Lot.
Okay.
Like, because that's a multi-episode thing anyway. Isn't it?
No, it's a Stephen King's. It's the new release of Salem's Lot. It's the movie.
Did I misunderstand it? Like, I thought it was a multi-part.
Okay, we'll check and see.
Okay, I'm looking.
Okay.
Oh no, it actually is a film. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what I got confused by.
Okay.
Yeah. There was a TV miniseries back in the 70s.
Right.
Okay, cool. Well, late 70s, early 80s.
Right.
Okay. Like, I think I had briefly looked up to see what it was, and I guess I saw something about the series.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, filed that as a series.
Right.
Yeah. So cool.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to do my naps from 10 to midnight because that seems to work well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So that's where we're kind of at. And then let's grab the green pen and let's start building some work around. Oh, and I'm leaving the office at 7.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go ahead and box that out. Okay. And I've got my trainer here.
And you got your lunch break from 3:30 to 4:30.
Right. Which has been working really well. Because it gives apparently the system's time to restart. Apparently there's something that goes on during that time. But it also gives me a moment to recharge. And even watch TV. Like, I've actually started watching 2 shows.
I know, right?
I know, right? And I may have a third. Because we've tried getting Aeson into TV. And I know you guys are like, what? I have trouble watching a full tale. Like, binging in me is not a thing.
Well, binging in you is not a thing, but more importantly, actually, like, being present for a TV show.
Right.
Or a movie.
Yeah.
Has long been a thing of, like, no, he just comes in, stands, and stares at the television for, like, weird, like, 3 to 20-minute intervals.
Right.
If he actually sits down and tries to watch something, that typically lasts for like 25 minutes until he starts getting twitchy.
Right.
And then he like flees the room to go find something to do.
Right. So like Halloween is a big day.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people go, what? You guys are planning to watch a movie?
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of work for me.
Yes, it
Just
is.
saying.
Without going to a theater.
Right. Without being
because that makes a difference. Like when you are locked into, like you have bought a ticket, you're in stadium seating, there are other people around you, that you can do.
Right.
Like you have no choice, you're locked in.
Right.
But if it's here at the house, it's like, no. Like bless his heart, he's gonna go scrub the toilet. He's gonna go restock the fridge.
Yeah.
He's going to go do laundry.
Right.
But I long ago learned to quit hitting pause.
Right. It's like, don't. Like, I've already figured out till the next segment.
Yeah.
Like, there's been a few movies that I haven't got. And that's my problem is I can pre-see plot line.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, we're working better with that. In November, I do want a one-time action that we go to the movies.
Oh, in November?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Like, there's got to be something both of us want to see and care about. Because there's holiday movies. There's got to be something. We'll find it.
Okay.
No. And that, I think, is something that we differ in, because you can sit and binge watch something.
It's a mood.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've caught that. Sometimes it literally is a mood.
Right.
And it has more to do with I kind of end up using binge watching series like you watch YouTube videos.
Yeah.
And it's kind of it's a little different. You kind of use it to block the constant narrative in your brain. I use it as like a free thinking space.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can watch the movie or the TV show or the whatever, but it also means that like this is time that I'm kind of disconnecting from thought to allow thought to occur.
Right.
And there will be moments 3 episodes in where it's like, I know what I need to do now.
Right.
I know how to handle that. I know how to fix that. I know what I want to design. I know whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. So here comes the fun part, but also here comes the make sure I don't fuck this up part. You get your calculator. I'll get my pen. Let's start seeing. We can't go over 70, but we have to be more than 40.
Okay.
Those are the house rules.
Yep.
So 4:30 to 7 every day this week
is 2.5 hours
times 7.
17.5.
Okay. All right, and then 12 to 3:30
is 24.5.
plus the 17.
42.
All right.
More than 40, less than 70.
Yep.
And then, so what's happening? Because you were doing a 5 to 7 a couple days a week.
You're right. Well, there's some priority shifts here.
Mm-hmm.
This 7 to 8 here before Mountain Bears. Well, 7 to 9. Needs to go in there.
Okay.
So that puts us at what?
44.
44. And then we can do this 7 to 9 here.
Okay. So 46.
And here is an easy.
Well, that actually the Monday you put in 7 to 10.
It should be 7 to 10. Sorry.
Okay.
And another
7 to 10 on Saturday.
Right. That gets me to what?
So we were at 42. We added 3. We added 2. We added 3. 50.
50. I think we're stopping there. I'm going to leave these 2 hours here open for white space.
Okay.
I'm in a nice grace period to where if I want to, I can work without going over my house rule of I do no more than 70 hours, or I don't.
And that's okay too.
And that's okay too.
Okay.
Now, times that I know it isn't beneficial is a Sunday morning. For me, it doesn't work. It isn't beneficial. And I'm taking Wednesday.
This Wednesday
off. And I knew that when we set the month out. Yeah. So that's the weekly schedule. Living in the Aeson world. We have a system to execute dinners. We will be setting alarms for shows because we can get gabbing and be over.
Yep.
And so we fit all the house rules. We have the way to execute dinner after tonight. We're in good spot. Is this going to be the schedule for the next 6 months? No, because I'm going to be reading my numbers.
And
if I
see what actually works.
Yeah, and if I see that it's like this priority time here on Fridays. Until I looked at my numbers, I didn't even know that since the show's later, I need to work.
Well, one, that you can.
Right.
And two, that it's actually a good time to work.
Right. Like, it's banging. So, if I'm going to spend any extra time, it may be Friday.
Yeah, Friday seems to be when everyone's just like, I've freaking had it.
Yeah.
Like, I need a new life. I need a new wife. I need a new something.
Right. That, or a lot of people have kids in high school. And this occurred to me, like they have kids in high school, so they're taking off to go to the football because they work from home and they have the right to do that.
Absolutely.
Yep. Alrighty, so let's see how this affects you.
Okay.
Let's talk through yours.
Okay. Well, unfortunately, I don't have a ton of stuff in yet. It's been a little bit of a crazy weekend. So I do have to after the show go in and fill all my stuff in. My biggest day is Wednesday, which we hadn't quite talked about yet.
Okay.
Because I do have and that is 3 to 4. I get my stitches out.
Yay.
I know, right? So yeah. So we'll go ahead and pop that in so I don't forget. And remember that it is local because I don't have to drive to Beckley for it.
Right.
So yeah. So we got that going on Wednesday. Then we've got basically that afternoon is, so to speak, a date day. Like it's our Halloween.
Yes.
It's our Halloween observe.
So that's that. Hopefully by Thursday, you should have the content planner for November. So we can, I know that's tight. I like to give you a few more days, but that's the closest I can get it to you.
It's the best we got.
Yeah. So we'll work from that. All right. Is there anything else you are going to be changing this week or anything you are going to be noting into your planner?
Well, we had already talked about on Friday, which I need to make note of. That's going to have to be my travel day.
Yeah.
So I am probably going to head out of here and I'm just going to sketch this in right now. So I am probably going to be gone roughly in this window to Princeton.
Right.
And that lets me get a laptop returned to a client. And I got to talk to another client, so that'll give them some time to see if they can make that work.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. And then, of course, we'll be setting up November next week.
Yes.
Yes.
So that all works out.
Yep.
But otherwise, for most of my week, it's just repetition.
Right.
That's why sometimes I don't have it all filled in, is because it's just like it's the same thing.
Right.
There's a show on Tuesday. There's a show on Friday. There's a show on Sunday.
Right.
And that's sort of where it is. Most of mine actually gets done on the day.
Right. You do a lot of day planning. I'm doing a lot of monthly planning now. I know, shocker, but that's the season I'm in. It's like, no, I need to set a monthly plan. Mm-hmm.
Well, what you do lends itself more for like weekly, monthly planning.
Mm-hmm.
My clients are frequently piecemeal.
Right.
Like, I can't plan someone's computer breaks on Tuesday.
Right.
And a fair number of my clients would be really mad on Wednesday if I tell them I can come down on Tuesday to fix your completely dead business.
Right.
Like, that's not.
Yeah.
It's not a thing.
Right.
It doesn't work.
All right.
So
yeah. Let's get our weekly overview ahead in.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get all this out of the way. Oh, I ain't putting up with
that. He has said no to the week ahead.
Well, the problem was the week ahead.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't do my daily cards this morning, and yes, I know something is ending, and of course, you know, I'm putting in a lot of rules and restrictions, and it's like, thanks, Tarot, for telling me what I already know.
Yeah. Thank you. I didn't do my morning cards. Thank you for my morning cards. Next.
Yeah. All right. It's going to be a fun week. So we have the King of Swords, which is working out, making decisions. You're going to be structurizing things. And then we have the Seven of Pentacles. Now, the Seven of Pentacles is about harvesting. It's about looking at what is growing, what you have grown, and keeping up with everything, including what has sprouted off of it. And then by the end of the week, you're going to be walking away from things that don't serve you. You've built them, you created them, you're done with them.
And that's with the Eight of Cups.
Yes. Cool. All right. So it's going to be an interesting week. It's going to be a comfortable week, but you got to be starting to plan November. November is going to be a dynamic time.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right, guys. Well, with that, I will see you tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 10 p.m. BT time. And we will dig into metaphysics. What are we talking about this week? Oh, we're talking about the history of Halloween.
Ooh.
Yes. And then we've got the Psychic Coffee Shop on Tuesday. And then Wednesday, you can come join me over on TikTok. I'm going to be doing, one question, 3 cards. I'll probably also pull like some energy cards for the collective and all that. And then Thursday, we're over here with the energy overview for November. Friday, we're at Mountain Bears. And then Sunday, we'll be back to set up your November and my November. And it'll be fun.
Absolutely.
Yes. A lot of functional planning. Like if you're a deco planner, right now is not my season.
No.
All right.
It's a shoehorn kind of period.
Well, it is, but it's also putting in systems for long-term success.
Absolutely. So, of course, we want to thank Beverly Walker, Mika G, Brenda, Joan Owen, Shannon C, Shannon D, Lady Gwendolyn, Caitlin Bell, Devin, Bella, and Maria Meyer. If you'd like to learn more about us, the show, or how you too can become a Patreon sponsor and receive all the wonderful benefits our baristas receive, please visit us at PCSPnetwork.com.
Yes, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye, guys.
Bye.